Does your website need events listed on it? Something like this. These are events in the state of Michigan, and you can see them there in a row or in a grid. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build your own events system quickly and easily with almost no code. And the little bit of code there is, I'm going to give to you at the end. Here's a quick overview of what we're going to build. This is our events page. I'm using the retrospect theme on WordPress.com, and that's why it looks like this. That's because of the theme. If you use a different theme, it will look a little differently, but your theme will help you with that. We have a list of events. I have a party happening on the 21st of October, and then a weekend at Topher's on the 24th through the 26th. These events are sorted not by their post date, but by their event date, so that the one soonest happening is listed at the top. If you click it, you'll see the times and dates are also on the single. Additionally, we made a little sidebar listing here that sticks with you on every page. So even if you go to the About page, it's still there. Lastly, I'm going to show you how to make it so that when an event goes past, it disappears from the list. I'm here in my WordPress.com account, and as I mentioned, the theme I'm using is Retrospect, but you could use any full-site editing theme. And for plugins, we're going to use advanced custom fields for the post type and the fields. This is not a requirement. You could use any post type creator you want and any custom field engine you want. I just happen to use this one. We're also going to use this small plugin that I wrote that handles the sorting. Then we're going to use a custom Gutenberg block called the meta field block. And lastly, Publish Press Future. All of these are available for free on WordPress.com. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is create our custom post type for events using advanced custom fields. Now, again, you don't have to use ACF for this. You can use any tool you like to create your post type. So I'll click Add New, put in a plural label, a singular label, and we're going to leave the post type key there at event. We don't have any taxonomies right now, but we could. We're not going to choose hierarchical because we're going to sort by a date. Under advanced configuration, ironically, we don't need custom fields because we're going to do ACF fields. I like revisions on all my post types because someday I'm going to make a mistake. Under visibility, we're going to show an UI and the admin menu. And for an icon, I'm going to choose this calendar. We're going to leave the rest of those. We're going to have it available in the REST API for reasons which we will talk about later. We do want to turn on archive because we're going to have a page that lists all of the events. I'm not going to put anything in custom for the name though. And then we will hit Save Changes. And here on the left, we have our events custom post type. Now we want to add two custom fields, one for a start date time and an end date time. So we'll go to Field Groups, add a field group. Our group title will be Event Fields. And the first one is going to be a date time picker. And we'll call it Start Date. The field name should auto-populate. And I'm going to choose this format for now, though we're probably going to change it later. And we need to do it for both of these. This is for display and this is for return. We're not going to use return, but might as well set it. And I like my weeks to start on Sunday. So we're going to close and add field. And this one will also be date time picker. And it will be end date. And we'll choose the same format. Close that field. And then we need to make sure that it works only on events. Then we'll save changes. And we'll go add a couple of events. Let's just have a party. Now, if I were really making events, I would put a featured image and I have a description of the party, etc. But for right now, I'm going to choose a start date, choose the 21st, and we'll make it start at 6 p.m. And for the end date, we will also make it the 21st, but end at 9 p.m. So this is an event that is 3 hours long and takes place in the evening of the 21st. Let's hit publish. Then let's make another event. We'll call it Weekend at Topher's. And this one will start on Friday at 6 p.m. It's going to end on Sunday, also at 6 p.m. So now we have an event that covers 3 days and we'll publish. So there we are. Now we have events. We have an archive page that lists the events. However, neither the archive page nor the individual events show our dates. So let's look at how we're going to do that. I'm going to put some events, a list of events in the sidebar here under my social network icons. So we're going to go to Appearance, Editor, then to Templates, and let's edit the blog home. So we're going to put it in the left sidebar here under the social icons. Let's look at the tree here. So this area is called the sidebar, and in it is navigation, another group, and social icons. So we're going to go to add after and make a header called events. There we go. Then right after that, we're going to put in a query loop, and we're going to start with a blank template, and I'm going to choose the simplest one, and because we're going to tear it apart. So we don't want the post date because that's kind of irrelevant. We don't need pagination, also irrelevant. And right now we see hello world here. We want query loop. For query type, we want custom, and we change our post type to event. And there are our 2 events. Sorting is irrelevant because we're going to change that with a plugin, and I'm going to show you that later. So I'm going to click on the header, and I want to make the titles a link so that you can click on them and go see. So I'm going to hit save real quick. Here are our events. Now, those are huge. Those are H3, and their parent is an H. No, these are H2. Parent was an H3. So we're going to switch these to 4. And the reason we choose F4 is that we need to maintain header hierarchy. The parent was a 3, the child is a 4, etc. I still don't like the size there. Let's go to design and set the font size to small. Yeah, I like small. Okay. Now we need to display the meta fields. So everything we do to this first one is going to affect every other post. So right after this, we're going to add a meta field block. And over on the right, we're going to choose a field type. I'm going to choose ACF because we're using ACF, but if you used MetaBox or a dynamic field or just a custom REST field, or even just a plain old meta, that's what you would choose. So we'll choose hide block if value is empty. So you'll note that we don't see an actual date here. That's because we need to turn on REST access for this group. So under field groups, ACF, this is the settings for my group as a whole. You can see the fields are here, start and end. But down here under group, we're going to show in REST API. Let's reload this again. And in the editor, we should see our date. There it is. This is an H4. So we're going to make this an H5 and set the font so it's a little smaller than the header. There we go. Also, I don't like all this space. So I'm going to take the margin off of this header. So we're going to come down here, we're going to go to margin, and I'm going to break it apart with this. So now we've taken the margin off the top of the date and the bottom of the event title. Let's take a look at that. Looks great. But now we need to do the end date, and there's a neat little trick here I'm going to show you. So after start date, we're going to do another meta, and over here we choose ACF. We put in end date and hide if empty because there will be events where there's only a start date. Okay, so we are going to put a hyphen at the beginning there. Now you'll note that they're not on the same line, and we want them to be. So what we're going to do is click right there in that title. I'm going to open up the list view, and right after title, I'm going to put in a row, and I'm going to put both meta items inside it. Now, if you put things inside a row, they are horizontally aligned. Then I want less space between these. So we're going to edit the row and go to design, go down to block spacing. we're going to set it to 0. So let's hit save and look at our page. So that's pretty good, except our dates wrap, and we don't like that. So we're going to make them much shorter. I'm going to use a 3-letter month. I'm going to take the date out. Let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to edit the start date. And under format, I'm going to choose custom. And the dates are formatted with these letters. Now let me show you real quick where you can find those. The date formatting comes from PHP, not WordPress. And I search for PHP date format, and you want this datetime interface format, and you come down here, and it just lists all the letters. So I want a 3-digit month right here. So I'm going to choose a capital M, and I also want a single-digit day. So that's J. So I'm going to do J, M, comma, and I'm going to take the year out altogether. So I'm just going to copy that and put it here also. Then we'll go to end date and custom, put it here, custom here, and save changes. There we go. It looks like I might need a space before that hyphen. Let's go put that in. That didn't help. Let's go back to our column gap, block spacing, and put in 10 pixels and reload here. That's a little too much, but you get the idea. Now, my problem is that these are in the wrong order. I want the soonest event coming to be at the top of the list. So we need to set the order to order by start date. And to do that, I'm going to use a plugin that I wrote, and you can have it. I'm going to activate. It's just a few lines of code. It's available on GitHub, and the link to it will be in the video description. So let's reload here, and there we are. Now, the soonest upcoming event is at the top. Now, one more thing we want to do is make this event disappear from the website when it is over. To do that, we're going to use a plugin called Publish Press Future. It's right here, and it allows you to set an expiration date for posts. We need to go into Actions and allow this to work on events. And we're going to leave those options to default. And then we're going to go back to our events. And for our party, let's say I want people to be able to show up late so they can see it even after it has started. But I don't want them to come if there's only like an hour left in the party. So I'm going to enable future action. So our party ends on the 21st of October at 9 p.m. So I'm going to choose 21 October, and I'm going to choose 8 p.m. So this is going to change the status of this post to draft at 8 p.m. on October 21st. It won't delete the post. You can reuse it. This is particularly useful for posting holiday hours for a business. You're going to use it every year, so you don't have to delete it. You can just reset the start and end times and when it disables. Now, this is in the future, so it's not actually going to change what we see here. So if we click party, there's our party. But this still has the wrong date. But that is super easy to fix. Let me show you. So I'm going to copy this row. So I've selected it and I hit copy. Then I'm going to leave this template, and we are going to look at all templates and click add template. And here's a single item event. And I'm going to choose this default pattern. And right here is post date. And we're going to delete that. And in here, I'm going to use a paragraph, but I can paste. And there's my row with my events and all my formatting. So now I click save, I go back, and there we are. And if I had any description, it would appear here, and however this theme handles my featured image. But that's how easy that is. But now let's go to the event archive. And there they are. And they are sorted properly because the same plugin that sorts these sorts this one. But again, we want to change that date. So we're going to go back, and we're going to Add Template for Archive Event. And choose the default template. And right here, we're going to remove the date, put in our row. Click Save, and we look at our events here, and now we have the events here. And the rest of it handles just like the theme does. So I'm assuming if there was an excerpt or content to be displayed, it would show here. So we can look. Yeah, if there's an excerpt, it would show it. And it puts the featured image above. So if you have one, it would appear above right here. So there we have it. We have an events custom post type that can have a start date and an end date. You could just as easily make an address field to make a map. ACF does that easily. I'm sure the other custom fields plugins do as well. It sorts to have the soonest upcoming event at the top. We have a little sidebar list of events. The events archive looks good, and the single looks good. Additionally, events will remove themselves from the website after the expiration date. One last thing I wanted to show you before we get to the code section is the archive page after I've dressed it up a little bit. It was pretty bland before, but I've added some content and some featured images. I didn't show it because it's not really related to making events. It's just using WordPress. But it looks a lot better when there are actual thumbnails and some content in there. So that's what that looks like. At the beginning of this video, I said that I would provide to you the code that I wrote. There's a link in the description to this GitHub page. And if you want, you can read through it and click here to look at the code. But if all you want is the plugin, you click the green button and click Download Zip. And you'll save Sort Events Main. Then go to your WordPress site. I'm on WordPress.com. And in the top right here, there's an upload button. And I'm going to choose it. Then I will select my zip, and it will upload and install. And it says at the top, activated. And that's it. That's all you need to do to use the code that I wrote for this. As always, be sure to leave questions and comments in the comment section below.